no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh yeah!
Ready when you are, my friend.
Yes!
By the time you read this, I'll be gone. I'll Just shut up and listen.
Yeah,
I like it, buddy. I like it.
got some raw to it, isn't it?
Yes.
Ready? Yep. Let's do it.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Bands Across the Water. This is the show where I like to take you guys around the globe, introduce you to new artists, new music, new original bands, and especially tonight we fall into the category of artists. I'm really excited to have this show tonight. It's going to be a really good one. Welcome, everybody. I see my mom is over there in the chat. Hello, Mother. Thank you for checking in. And I see Sweet Barb is checking in from London, Ontario. Thank you, Barb, for being here. I know you're working hard, catching up on all things online teaching and report cards and all that stuff. So thank you for being here and tuning in and joining us. Tammy Jenkins Stewart. My dear sweet old neighbor from way back, and I don't mean she's old, I mean she was an old neighbor. I just want to be clear on that, all right? Hold on. Sure you guys understand what I'm saying there. It's important. Let's test the yes button, shall we? Is the yes button working tonight?
Yes!
Let's see what the audience says. The survey says. I'm going to go with probably a big yes tonight. If not, we got this one.
Yes!
I like that one, too. That's a good one. Well, you're not that old, Tammy, but welcome. Thank you for being here. It's great to see you. Thanks. We got the yes button working tonight. All right.
Yes!
Yes. I'm happy about that. Hey, you guys, thank you for being here. This is, believe it or not, episode number 32. Woohoo. I'm excited about that. And I am checking in live on Facebook at facebook.com/Darren Curtis Drums. That is my Facebook page over there. Please like, share, all the things over there. If you prefer, you can find it live streaming on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Please head over there and find my YouTube channel and subscribe to my YouTube channel because eventually I think you need a minimum number of subscribers, and you can actually change it to a link that everyone can remember, like youtube.com/Darren Curtis Drums. That's my goal. I'm working very hard to be able to make that happen. So head over to the YouTube channel, subscribe. I can't tell you what the link is to get there right now. You just got to search for my name. And fortunately, because my mom spelled my name so strange, Darin, like no one else on the planet, I don't think, I'm easy to find if you look for Darren Curtis Drums. I'm like the only one. So, haha, right? And then, of course, streaming live to Twitch, twitch.tv/Darren Curtis Drums. You guessed it. I didn't need to have a ton of subscribers over there to make it happen, did I? No. I need a no button. I don't have a no button. That'll be the next thing. Anyway, thank you guys all so much for doing all those things on these social networking stuff. It means a lot. I work hard to put this show together. Hard to believe I'm on episode 32 tonight. It kind of blows my mind a little bit, actually. It's been a lot of fun so far. I've had my woes with technology, as everyone knows. But that's been part of the fun, I think. And I also just want to point out behind me there, in case you don't see there, you guys, there's a little, I'm in the live room at the studio, at Sound Shop Studios here, the beautiful Sound Shop Studios here in Macomb, Michigan. I'm in the live room with my drum set, the new little Premier set that I just got over to the United States recently. I call it my Canada kit, the red and white I got going on back there. I'm really loving it. It is 40. Wait. It's really hard when you're backwards. I don't know, whatever way. It's 40 years old. 40. It was born in 1981 in England, and it is 40 years old, and it sounds amazing. I was lucky to have 2 sessions this weekend, one on Friday, one on Saturday, that I used that kit in. The very first session on Friday, it sounded great. The second session on Saturday, it sounded great. So I'm excited to sort of welcome it to the studio here, and I look forward to a lot more tracking with it because it sounds so good for, especially that it's got that, that big beefy old, anyway. A lot of people don't know about Premier drums, but there you go. It's a great kit, and I'm super excited to have it. I see some friends checking over on Twitch. Let me say hello over there. E.C. Clark checking in. Hello, Mr. Kevin is over there, too. What is happening, you guys? E.C. Clark checking out the drum kit behind me. That's right. He says, sweet drum kit. Man knows a good thing when he sees it. That's right. It's about time I brought it home. Yes, I took it all apart. If you follow if you're friends with me on Facebook or Instagram, actually, where you can find me there, Darren_Curtis_drums on Instagram. Yeah, I also have some pictures of me taking it all apart and scrubbing it and cleaning it up, but it looks beautiful now, and I'm really excited about it. It's already going to be a workhouse. It's going to be a workhouse for me, I can tell. It's going to be a workhorse for me, I can tell. I'm excited to put it through the rolls and track some awesome songs for some awesome artists along the way. So exciting stuff, right?
Yes.
Yes, and the crowd says yes. The yes button is working, so that's good. All right, so I'm going to tell you guys, you want to see them live. EC says he wants to see me hit those drums live. I want to see me hit those drums live. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's been a while, my friend. I know. I agree with you in person. I understand exactly what you meant, buddy. And I agree. I'm looking forward to when that's going to happen. So nothing solid in the works yet, but we'll get there. I know it. In the meantime, in case you guys don't know, I'm going to tell you who's on the show tonight because I got a doozy in store. Tonight on the show, I am featuring what I will say this will be my very, very, very first show that I actually don't have a band or a musician, but I do have an artist. See how I did that? That's pretty slick, huh? That's right. Bands, musicians, artists, and there is one of this guy here, right here, that guy you see right there, that with all those things going on there. Yeah, look at that stuff, right? This guy right here, holy camole. I've known John for like a long time, and we're going to talk about it. I've known him for many years, high school. I don't even want to spoil any of it, so I'm going to wait till I get him on the show to talk about any of this stuff. So he is a Bell River native, in case you don't know, Bell River, Ontario. That was my hometown. I no longer live there, but I still consider it to be my hometown. In fact, I guess I have to open my hometown all the way up to Essex County because technically, Puce, Puce really was kind of where it was. I mean, technically, Tammy Jenkins in the chat over there, she knows, but yeah. So Puce, Bell River, John is in Bell River still, and his home base, BEESTING Tattoo, is set up there. And he's been dealing with all of the struggles through COVID as a business owner, and we're going to talk about all of this stuff. Yes, my mom says over in the chat, she says talk about talent. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about some of the talent that this guy possesses with him in person. So that being said, I think it's time that we bring him on camera. What do you guys say? Let's hit that yes button one more time. How about this one? It's time to bring him on camera. I love that one. All right, here he is, you guys. Mr. John Wayne, all the way from Bell River, Ontario. BEESTING Tattoo. He's checking in from the home base. Let's bring him on camera. Here he is, folks. Mr. John Wayne, buddy. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Oh, thanks for having me. Absolutely. I just can't say enough great things, man. Thank you.
Oh, it's great to have you on, man. It's great to have you on. How are things in Bell River, my friend? How are things going?
You know what? It's nice and warm here today, I'll tell you that. I mean, it's been a nice change in the weather.
That is true. I know. It's like 100 million degrees outside today. You actually went and put some socks on before the show because your feet were getting cold. You got the AC cranked up in there, don't you?
Yeah, it was. I was sitting on the deck enjoying a couple of nice beers there this afternoon, and of course sweating. And then I come down to the basement at the AC, and shorts and bare feet not going to cut it.
Well, you and Jax, your beautiful bride, were out bombing around today. Or was it all weekend, or was it today, or what was going on? Tell us.
She stayed home, and I took off for the north on Friday at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and did some good riding up in the Georgian Bay area, like the Grey Bruce and the Collingwood and everything. Put on about 1,100 kilometers and 48 hours.
Wow, that's a good hike,
yeah.
Huh? Jeez. Well, so when you got back, you just needed to kick your feet up and on the deck, have a couple of beers, and eventually end up.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got back by about noon. So getting back, just like I took off before the heat really kind of kicked in, but I was coming back through Grand Bannon. That's when she really started kicking my ass.
Wow, yeah. Well, that's a beautiful ride, though. That's up. Did you go right up the peninsula, like up towards? Is it Tobermory that's up there?
Well, pretty much, yeah. We went up as far as Lion's Head. And,
oh yeah.
Yeah. Then we just kind of turned around from there and then came back and then did a sea cliff ride along Georgian Bay on Highway 1 and then made our way up all the way to pretty much Collingwood area.
Awesome. I used to play in Collingwood at the. I don't remember what it was called, but I used to play there anyway, many years ago. E.C. Clark, my buddy, checking in over on Twitch. He says, "Hi, John."
How you doing, buddy?
And then he has a question for you. He says, "Your beer of choice."
Oh, this here is.
Well, I think he wants to know, like, what is your specific beer of choice? If that is it, then what is it? Yeah.
If I had a choice, and it's a bit of an explanation, but if I had a choice, I would definitely go with a Walkerville Stout. I love that beer.
Nice.
Unfortunately, got some stomach issues kind of going on, so a heavy beer is not good. So my beer of choice by default, it would be Dara Dam from Barcelona.
Oh, nice. Hold that up to the camera nice and close if you don't mind. We'll see if we can. I don't know.
I would definitely love a sponsorship from you guys if you guys can see this.
Can you do your best Vanna White for us there?
It's like,
Right. What's funny is E.C. Clark probably doesn't realize or know, but Walkerville is a brewery in Windsor that is a local hometown stout that you're talking about that I'm sure EC has probably never tried, but next time he gets a chance to head over to Windsor, I suggest he definitely checks out some of the beers at the Walkerville Brewery for sure.
oh, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, awesome. I love that you're it's a local thing for you.
Oh, absolutely. It's like the first time I tried it, I fell in love with that beer. It was absolutely delicious.
Nice. Well, thanks for the question, EC. If anybody has any questions for Mr. John Wayne over here from BEESTING Tattoo, we would love to hear it. I have a question for you, John.
Sure.
And I know that I know the answer to this one already, but I'm going to dive right into this one right off the bat. Who is the most famous person you have ever tattooed?
Ooh, most famous person I've ever tattooed. Man, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings by not claiming they're the most famous person, but
all right. How about how about the top, like whatever, top 5 or top whatever?
We'll go with for sure like the one I can think of at the top of my head would be Peter Klett of Candlebox, and then there's Dallas Smith from Default, also Dave Benedict from Default, and Jeremy Hora of Default. So I got the 3 of the guys.
Nice.
Never got the drummer. You know, he wasn't on time.
Oh, hold on, I gotta. I had the drum roll and the audience laugh. That was a good one, by the way. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I did tattoo one NHL player there back. He just got signed to Dallas, and then he went down there. And I understand he's back in the area, but it's been many years later.
Oh, nice. Well, I know I had Mike Leslie, who was a former guitar player of Candlebox, on the show last week. And we were talking a little bit about you being on the show this week and about how you had sent me that picture of you doing Pete from Candlebox. Yeah. And you told me when you sent me that picture that you were really nervous at the time.
Oh, extremely nervous. I wasn't expecting. I wasn't going in there. All I was going to do was be a fan for the show, and we got access backstage. And one of the opening bands who I tattooed, the drummer, he was telling Kevin from Candlebox's singer that, oh, he does tattoos. And then next thing you know, like Pete comes over and he's like looking to get some ink on, and he's like, it was kind of funny that Peter didn't even want to do the show. He just wanted to go get tattooed. And I'm like, I'm here to see you play. Afterwards, we can do it then. So he arranged it all out great. So once the show was done, we came back to the studio and I tattooed him until about 4:30 in the morning.
Wow, that's great. Where was the show at? Did you say? Did I catch that? I missed it.
It was in LaSalle at Strawberry Fest.
Oh,
they
nice.
They were the main act, and there was a few bands at the time that were playing. There was like Ashes of Soma was one of the what would you call somebody that goes on right before the opening band?
We'll call them like the supporting act.
I guess it's funny because there was like 2 or 3 openings before Ashes and then Candlebox, so it was like a full day event.
Yeah, a lot of times, like what they'll do is they'll have like a tour established. Like maybe they'll have, Candlebox and Ashes of Soma would be the tour that rolls around, and then they'll pull some locals that to try to draw some local, people, some local bodies to the shows, and because as an out of town band, and I know like Ashes of Soma is from the Windsor area, but
yes.
I know that as for an out of town band to show up to different venues, especially if you're like, you're not here, you're just sort of here and in there somewhere. It's nice to rely on, local bands for their support and to help bring in some bodies to the venues, in a time, in a place where you may not necessarily have the draw that you are quite there yet, So I would guess that direct support, as they would call it, would be Ashes of Soma on that one probably, and then maybe the local openers or something.
Yeah. So that's how it kind of brought everything all together for that meet, and then to finally tattoo somebody, and then yes, I not like I said, not going into knowing that there was going to be a tattoo happening, and then all of a sudden I finally get to see one of my favorite bands play, and now he wants me to tattoo him. Yeah, I was pretty nervous.
I bet, right?
Well, he had been on the road for a while, so it was kind of nice that he got away from the other guys in the band. I mean, you being in a band, kind of what it's like. Just something you need a break from that other three relationships that you have.
Right. Sure.
So he had a night to get away. He was in the backyard at 1 o'clock in the morning playing with the dogs in the grass and everything.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. That's great.
Yeah.
Let me catch him in the chat here. EC asked about celebrities. I think we covered that. Tammy says hi, John. Hey, John.
What's up, girl?
Hi, girl. That's like your neighbor, pretty much, right?
Yeah, actually, I could probably shoot her with a potato gun from here.
Tammy, run over there and shoot him with a potato gun right now. Let me see. What else? All right. Tammy says, John, Chris said you left him out.
I left him out?
Out of probably celebrities that you've tattooed, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, there's a whole story behind that, but that's another interview altogether for a guy who didn't even want his tattoos anymore to begin with.
That's great. Okay, and my buddy Kevin Westmix EBX over there on Twitch. That is Kevin from the band LC Banks. He's our head honcho producer. He is my amazing best friend over here at the Sound Shop Studio. Him and I are part of a production team we affectionately call Dern, Kern, and Fern Productions. This is John, by the way, welcome to the Howard Dern Show. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I like it. Where's Baba Booey?
Oh, I got it. There. I do actually have, yeah. All right. Anyway, so Kevin says this. So as soon as the border's opening, we're coming over for some work. Well, let's get to that real quick while we're on this topic then, shall we? Because I really like that he said that for a great segue as to where I want to lead with this right now. So you and I have known each other for a very long time. We've known each other since high school. That's like about 5 years ago.
Actually, I could tell you the year.
What year was it?
Actually, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was pre-Aces. And you were playing with Trevor DeBlock, 1986.
I was saying 7. I thought 87.
Yeah, it was about 86, and you played St. Simon St. Jude Hall with Trevor.
Yes.
I was there.
Yes. Do you remember the drum solo I did that night?
No.
Everybody.
I was at pre-of age drunk night.
Well, I mean, yeah, you would have been probably 14 then, because I was 16 in '86.
Yep, I was 14 years old, and yeah, that was a great. I think that was my first real concert.
That was good, right? I mean, for a couple of 16-year-old dudes putting a band together, it was fun.
It was great, man. Windmilling in the front like this, doing air guitars, and everything. It was awesome.
Labyrinth, it was Labyrinth.
That's what the name was. Yes, I for the life of me couldn't remember the name.
I love that. I love it.
We have a very long history.
Yes, that's great, dude. That's great that you remember that show. I remember we had to actually play at St. Simon St. Jude's school. In the daytime, to be able to be at an assembly, to be approved, to be able to get the hall for the show on a nighttime dance, So we had to come in and sort of prove ourselves to the whole school for 2 songs or something like that, And then obviously we were able to do this show, The reason I asked about that drum solo is because so many people have told me that who have been at that show so many years later now. I mean, we're talking 86, that show. So many years later, even to this day, people have come up to me and said, dude, I remember that drum solo you did at St. So apparently what happened was I did this big drum solo thing, and it was the last song of the night. This is how we ended the show, was with a big drum solo, and then we came back and boom, you know. Well, I ended up coming all the way around my drum kit. I got off the drum kit and I walked all the way around it, and I was tapping on all the stands and the rims and the ding dong ding 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 ding, doing whatever all the way around it until I came all the way around and back onto the drum kit. And whoever like was running the hall, like the head honchos of the hall, they didn't realize that I was still doing something and ting ting tinging around the kit. So all of a sudden, all the house lights come on in the whole place, and everybody just kind of went, oh, like, you know, because all the lights, and it was still going, you know, but we didn't stop. We finished it out, but the house lights stayed on.
Oh, man.
That's great.
You know, there's a vague, when you described it, there's a vague kind of like little film playing in my head right now of that moment. When I saw that kind of all going on, I thought, this is it? we're done?
There you go. Yeah, it was a weird thing. Everybody was kind of like, that's great. Oh my gosh, that's awesome that you remember it. There's my buddy James Todd checking in over on Facebook. He says, hey fellas, just wanted to stop in and say hi. He's got to cut the grass so he can't stick around. He'll watch later for sure.
Oh man.
Have you ever give him a tattoo before?
No. James
so.
Todd, I should, I think I remember James, not vaguely, actually very, very clear, was Mr. Grinch.
You posted a picture of him and Kenny recently.
That was me, Kenny, and James together at that show at Mr. Grinch. I was smashed in that picture, as you could tell.
You know. I'll give you another little tidbit of information. It wasn't even. I don't think it was even Mr. Grinch, was it?
Yeah, that's what Kenny had said it was when I showed it to him.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna leave it at that. I thought it was a different name that started with a G, but I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna leave it at that. We'll just leave it. We'll leave it right there.
Either way, we kind of remember an evening happening.
Yeah,
so that's good.
What I think too is I want to say even my mom might have been there. She might remember the Park Place and that show when that was thrown together. That was like a last minute. They didn't, like, their band canceled and we were all looking at each other. Well, we could jam. I mean, we got stuff and we're pretty good. You know, we weren't a band, but we all were like Todd and I were at that point. James and I were at that point, but not
yep.
you know.
I remember that. I think you actually you had a little white car at that time too, if I'm not mistaken. It was like a Monza or something like that.
Maybe. I don't remember that.
I remember too. I get these weird memories are gonna come back.
I had a Chevette at one point. I don't know if that was it. Maybe. I don't know. It wasn't white though.
It's possible. I don't know.
I had a Vet at one point. Did I say a Chevette? Oh, that slipped out like that. I meant a Vet.
Depends who you're talking to, right?
Right. So I remember back in high school, I just kind of want to touch base on a little bit more like kind of the past. I remember going into your house when we were kids. You lived kind of down the road from where I rehearsed in a whole different band with Steve Fitzmaurice and Dave Tindline. Geez, I can't even remember who else was in that band, but we rehearsed around the corner from your place-ish. And I remember going to your place and going in your room, and I just remember being in awe, looking around. There was drawings everywhere. Like, you had so many different like, it was like, holy cow, this guy's just like so good. Like, and it was all like, if I remember, it was like just like pencil drawings and stuff. It wasn't even like a lot of color and all the stuff yet. Like, you were just kind of like sketching, I think, even at that point. Yeah,
I had a thing back then with pens. I like drawing a lot with black pens. It had a real kind of like dark contrast, and I used to just always carry around like these micro point black pens, and I would just sit there and draw on everything, whether it would be binders or paper, or even like I even have a jean jacket to this day from high school that I drew on it with a black pen of a Megadeth album cover.
Nice. I probably remember that jacket, actually. I'm sure I do.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
It doesn't fit anymore.
Well, it shrunk in the dryer, over time.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is, I remember, in high school, I remember that, you being, just like you remember me being a drummer in high school. I remember you being an artist, like a drawer, like drawing, however the hell you want to call it, an artist. I'll say just drawing all the time. I don't really remember you kind of getting into the painting so much yet, and especially obviously not into any ink yet at that point. But you sort of made the transition from black ink pens to like airbrushing, right? Is that kind of the natural evolution you sort of took?
Yeah, I believe it was 16 or 17, somewhere around there. I picked up an airbrush. I had this drive that I wanted to be an airbrush artist because I remember growing up with guys like Ivan Bannock and Claude and these guys who would do all the airbrushing on the vans. I'm sure you remember those back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to do that. To me, that was going to be the ultimate thing. So I had my mom buy me an airbrush kit, and then next thing you know, I just started going to town and started doing up like people's jean jackets from school. And I actually did one for Tammy Jenkins. She still has it to this day, actually. It's an Alice Cooper. I did an Alice Cooper portrait on the back of her black jacket.
Nice.
Like,
I've seen it, I'm sure.
Yeah, she's probably nodding her head. Yeah.
She probably wore it to the Park Place for an Aces Wild show or something one time.
Yeah, maybe.
So that was kind of the natural evolution for you, was to sort of get beyond the pen to paper and literally move into now like permanent stuff on things other than paper.
Yeah, I was always looking to kind of like move into different directions, and it wasn't the fact that I didn't like what I was doing. It was just that, like anything else, like if you play music, you're not always going to play the same style. You're going to want to jump into different things and try that out, right? Well, yeah, that's what I kind of did when I did the airbrushing thing, and then next thing you know, bands like Motley Crue were starting to get tattooed and everything, and then I had, I don't know, do I even get started into the whole story of how I got into tattooing yet, or should we wait for that?
Yeah, let's wait on that. We'll wait on that because I want to kind of touch base into how you and I got into the airbrushing together a little bit.
All right, cool.
But we'll get to that. Yeah. So what was kind of the first, like, was it like fabric, like you like a jacket or that kind of thing was sort of the first airbrushing that you did? Because I know you got into like vehicles too, right? You did vans and stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, I was doing some vehicles too. But like what I started off was obviously like anything like cardboard or paper or anything like that. But then started to find that what was the point? You did a piece of paper, it got wrecked or wrinkled, or if it got wet, cardboard started to get like it just would just wrinkle and it would bend and everything like that. I wanted something that was going to last longer. Like, why waste all that time and energy on something that just wasn't going to be there? So, and I tried canvases, but canvases wasn't my thing either. I wasn't going to had no interest in going to like Art in the Park and putting my canvases out there for people to want to buy them. It wasn't my thing. I just kind of wanted to make a statement, I guess.
Right. I gotcha.
So then that's when it started off. I think the first things I did was I decided to take I asked my mom for one of the white shirts. My dad had like an old work shirt, and she gave me, I airbrushed a bunch of skulls on it, and I wore it to school, and that's it. It just basically, people were like, hey man, can you make me a shirt? Can you make me a shirt? Here's my jean jacket. And it just it took off from there, and next thing you know, there's guitars involved and all that stuff, right?
Right. And then you ultimately you did get into doing vans and stuff like later than on after that? Like, was this like out of high school and you were doing kind of vehicle custom paint jobs on vehicles and stuff? Because you got into some of that stuff quite a bit, right?
The vehicles thing I did kind of here and there. I did some motorcycles, did some cars, some NASCAR stuff. It wasn't something I was able to get into doing that was going anywhere. And people I actually kind of found that I was too late to the party.
Yeah.
So the idea of doing vehicles was something people didn't want to do in the 80s. It was something of the 70s.
Yeah, those custom vans were kind of like in the parades in the late 70s, early 80s and fizzling out, and sort of the allure of them kind of was going away. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was just kind of late to the party and never really got to go anywhere with it. But it was musicians like yourself that kind of like sought us out to do stuff like that, because let's face it, who didn't want to have a custom drum kit or a custom guitar or custom anything like that?
So that brings me to the next thing for us. Along the way, you and I had came together for I think twice for two different projects, but for the same thing. And that was for drum heads for me. You actually airbrushed some drum heads for me a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I can recall one for sure, which was the three-dimensional Aces Wild, and it looked like glass, kind of like very like three-dimensional, kind of coming off the kit. That one I do remember, all black and white.
Yeah, right. And we were talking about this before the show. You have like a picture. You have some pictures somewhere.
Yes,
somewhere. We'll get to them one day. We'll share them on social media one of these days. But yeah, you have pictures of us back then, like, and I'm holding those drum heads, and the paint is like still drying practically,
It was nerve-wracking because if I remember correctly, I want to say for sure you were there, obviously. And I believe a guy named Chris, he was your sound guy?
He was probably our lighting guy.
Lighting guy, that's what it was.
Chris Brenner.
Chris Brenner. Was James Todd there?
There's a good chance, yeah. Him and I were pretty much, two peas in a pod.
Okay, so I had the three of you guys sitting there the whole time watching you airbrush everything so tediously because you wanted to see it done. It was like, oh, I gotta watch it. And I think I remember telling you, like, it's not going to be that exciting. It's like watching paint dry. That's exactly what it was. Watching paint dry.
But I'm to this day, I'm glad that I did it and experienced it, though, really, like now, looking back on it,
That's cool.
I didn't know back then that I was going to care about it so many years later,
Yeah, I mean, who thought it would actually get to this point, right?
Right, yeah. So E.C. Clark has a good question. My mom over there, she says she remembers the Park Place, but she was always busy dancing. Yes.
Good job, Mom.
Right? Dude, she would dance to drum solos. She'd be up there like, we were playing Am I Evil, and my mom is on the dance floor. I'm like, this is great. Yep. So good. So I'll never forget that stuff. E.C. Clark wants to know, have you ever, and this is a great question, have you ever airbrushed goalie masks for anyone? Like for anyone in the NHL?
Actually, I can even remember the client and everything. His name was Alan Pacino. He had me do a goalie mask for him, and it was, I believe it was a skull, like an open mouth skull kind of thing going on, and unfortunately they wouldn't let him use it.
Oh, no way.
They wouldn't let him use it in the league because apparently, and this is why I stopped doing goalie masks, if you scuff up the finish to paint it in any way, they said it weakens the structure, and if you got hit with a puck, it could shatter and cause damage, and they didn't want to be liable for it. So he took the mask, and I believe he just hung it on his wall, and he had to wear a plain mask. And nowadays, well, God, they airbrush them all, and they digitally print them and dip them and everything now. So it just goes to show you 30 years later it'll do.
Exactly, yeah. But that's a good question. Yeah. Thanks, EC. If you guys have any questions for John, by all means, fire away in the chat. I do enjoy kind of throwing questions out there. So right beside you, to your right, John, I think you have an CD. No, actually, let's get to the CD. Oh, your left. Sorry, your left.
To my left. Okay.
Yeah. To your left, I thought it was your right. Yeah, EC says that's a bummer. So John, in his hands, in his possession, is holding straight out of like 1994. Look at that. John has the original 1994 Aces Wild Race CD 10-song full-length album. Yep, there I am over there. I'm the only guy standing up. I don't know why, but I am. John, do me a favor and pull that sucker out of there. Let's look at this. This is back when, when CDs were something, when bands released packages. Like, look at this.
I'm going to put my finger right on Darren, right there. Oh, yeah, there we go. You might see him pretty good. Yeah, look at that hair, luscious. I believe this was Todd.
Yeah.
That was your singer right there.
You got it. Tim.
And guitars.
Yep, that was Aaron. I love it. And then look at this. You open that painting right there was a custom oil painting that we had a guy by the name of Tom Hilborn paint for us. It was an idea that we had that tied in really well with the racism, race against time, the rat race, all the things race, And then look at this thing. It opens up into a 4-page, like every lyric for every song says Ace is Wild in the inlay in the back. All the lyrics are handwritten by each different member of the band. Plus, like we had family members write, lyrics. If you could bring it in a little close now, you guys will see there's handwritten lyrics over top of that Ace is Wild, all through the whole thing. Yeah, look at that. Every song, and I did Frustration. My handwriting is Frustration, which is probably probably all in straight, I'm weird that way. I remember writing it out. That's very cool. Let me see. Yes, EC says, I bet you that CD is in mint shape.
Oh, absolutely. I keep all my CDs in mint shape. There's not one scratch on that
Look
thing.
at that. And it sounds great even to this day, man.
The hell out of this thing when I got it.
EC says Darren will sign it for free. Are you kidding me? I'm not signing anything for that guy. There's no need. There's no need. We go too far back to even care about that kind of stuff. I'll get his signature on my body before I'd sign a CD for him.
You ain't going anywhere.
That's right, yeah. Well, it's great that you still have it, and you told me that you play it sometimes still, and I sort of put you on the spot a little earlier about what your favorite song was, so I'm not gonna go
You know
there.
what? I have a great memory for faces and stories and stuff, but if I was to sit back and look, Dangerous Times, I do definitely remember that. Too Far From Home.
Nice.
Those are the two I can definitely in my head. They ring a bell. Like I said, it's been some years.
Yeah.
I just reset all my system up. So CDs are something I haven't even pulled out of boxes in 25 years.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Well, that's great, dude. So you had painted some Aces Wild bass drum heads for me, and that was back in the probably early 90s, I'm guessing, maybe the late 80s, super late 80s.
I moved to Toronto in 92, so it had to have been about 90, 91 that I did the drum heads for you.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Because we had just sort of put our first record out, not the one that you have there now, but the cassette that we did. It was a 5-song cassette that was our very first release we ever put out, and that was in 91. And I'm guessing that we were probably starting to go out and tour on that little EP at that time. So so cool. Well, that's great. All right, well, I'm going to take a quick short little break right now, and I want to talk about what I'm about to show. So let's get into this before I take this break. Recently, you did a podcast for a show called Two Dudes and a Mic. How long ago was that?
September of 2020. So yeah, we were back to work after maybe a couple of months after coming back from the first lockdown. So they had short story. They had put up a status looking for an artist, a tattoo artist locally who would be willing to do a tattoo and do a podcast, and apparently my name came up quite frequently. They contacted me, and that's when I did that.
Ah, nice. So what I did was I put together a little bit of a video from that. I sort of edited some of the footage, and I threw actually Frustration from that record there. I threw that song underneath it, and I compiled it into a short little couple-minute long video so people can kind of see in the studio. And you're actually giving one of the hosts a tattoo.
Yes, yeah, Mike.
So that's cool. So and you can actually find the full podcast on their YouTube channel. It's Two Dudes and a Mic. And since the song that I added to this, the Aces Wild song that I added to this is called Frustration, I decided to call this video Two Frustrated Dudes and a Mic.
Awesome.
So here it is. Here's John. He's at BEESTING Tattoo in Belle River, Ontario, Canada, with two dudes and a mic. And this is some of the footage, none of the audio from that show, but you guys can find the audio and the whole thing in its entirety on their channel. So let's check it out, you guys. Here it is. Oh, yeah, right? Look at that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm glad that I had a little bit of footage from that podcast. If you guys get a chance to go see the full thing, you'll hear the interview with John and get to see the finished tattoo. I did have a picture of it in there. Very cool clocked. Maybe we'll have John explain it more to us. But, yeah, very cool. I'm happy to have my buddy John Wayne on the show tonight. Thank you guys for being here with me. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your support. I just wanted to let you know about next week. I got another great show in store. Check it out. Who's on the show next week?
Come on, people, take out your phone. You know what to do. Point it at yourself. You're going to put it on your favorite social media. You take a selfie. You take a selfie. Come on and take a selfie. You take a selfie. Go ahead and grab your phone. Take a picture on your own. Take a selfie. Selfie. Come on and take a selfie. Take a selfie. A motherfucking selfie. Go ahead and grab your phone. Take a picture on your own. Take a selfie. Get on.
That's right. Next week, I got Mr. Scott Randall from Chit. Of course, Mr. Screamin' Scott, WRAF radio personality here in Detroit. He's going to be joining me on the show. I look forward to having him on the show next week. It's going to be a fun one. Here he is with his rubber chicken. That's right, my buddy Screamin' Scott Randall, the band Chit. WRAF radio will be on the show. Join me next week, Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here, Bands Across the Water. You know where to find it. Share, share, share.
Hey, Scream. Yeah. You having some fun here?
I'm having the time of my life.
I'll tell you right now, I have never had more fun so early in the morning in my life. Hey, where's your device?
Whoa! What are you talking about?
Your device.
Oh, my cell phone.
That's your cell phone. What are you doing with that?
Yeah, that's right. I got Mr. Screamin' Scott Randall on the show next week. It's going to be a good one. Tune in. He's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. So we're going to talk about some music that he's got going on with his band Chit. And, of course, all the other things he has going on in his life. It's going to be a great show. Looking forward to it. In the meantime, let's bring Mr. John Wayne back on camera, shall we? Here he is, you guys. Mr. John Wayne. Horns up. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Right on.
Very cool. So that looks like that was a fun time, that podcast. It looks like it was a good time. You got a cool result out of it, and it looks like you got a pretty sweet tattoo out of the deal there, huh?
The funny thing with those guys is that the whole process of doing the show is obviously without kind of like breaking the whole confidentiality of the whole show, the way things are done. During the tattoo, I did the tattoo, and they filmed it. But the audio that you hear was us sitting down in our consultation room on the couch, and they had a whole studio thing set up, and so we all had headphones on, mics in front of each person, and we did this whole thing. And as you're doing it, you're doing shots, and you're drinking beers, and that's the whole idea of 2 dudes in the mic, is that when you're doing something with them, yeah, you're doing a lot of drinking.
Right, I see. And is that always the best method to when you're having yourself tattooed, is have a lot of shots, drinks?
Before, well, the thing is, we did one or two shots prior doing the tattoo, which is a little bit earlier than I drink, like 10 a.m. Pretty early. But then by the time we were done, it was around dinner time, and then that's when we started drinking. Was about 6 when I finished the tattoo.
Oh, well, that's okay. You had a couple of shots just to sort of kick it off, and then it was like straight in, all about the work.
Yeah. So no, it was. We'll say it was about a 90% sober, maybe 85% sober tattoo experience, and then the rest of it was like just getting nice and shitty after.
That's kind of funny. I mean, at least they wait until you're done, doing something permanent on them to do the.
Oh yeah, we had a great evening. It was a long day. It was about probably about 12 or so hours of having them here. So it was a long day. But we had a lot of fun.
That's cool. That's good. And you get a really cool, memorabilia thing out of it at the end too. You got this great podcast that you could much like this show, John. You're gonna go back and look at this. You're gonna show your grandchildren this for years to come. Yeah, they're gonna.
Well, I have no kids, so there's no grandchildren involved. I'm sure everybody else's grandchildren, no problem.
Right. Let's get over to the chat here. Barb has a great question. Barb is checking in from London. She wants to know who tattoos John.
Wow, that's a long answer.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, right? So
I have I think the last time I calculated, there was 580 hours tattooed on me by over 60 different artists around the globe.
Wow.
So I basically what you would call like a bodysuit. Like what you see, it doesn't look like I have anything here, but as it kind of just starts to open up, it goes all the way down, like both arms and everything. So there's a lot of artists that have definitely laid some ink into this body.
Do you have like one specific that has done more than someone else?
Oh man, like the largest coverage by one artist on me would probably have to go to Tristan Zhang from Toronto, Markham area. He did both ribs and my stomach going up into my chest. That was about 44 hours of tattoo time by him.
Wow, that's amazing. Jeez.
Yeah.
So, do you have like a favorite on you? Do you have your favorite, and if so, why?
Wow.
Your favorite on your body, I mean. I know.
It's, you know what? That's a hard one. I would probably say one done by, I'm going to say a couple. I had one done of a memorial of our oldest dog who passed away in 2012, done by Bob Tyrell. Bob tattoos a lot of rock star celebrities. He's tattooed Kid Rock and everything like that. So
nice.
He did a portrait of our oldest boy, and that's always going to be one of my very favorites. But there's a lot of meaningful tattoos that are on me, and there's for so many different reasons.
Right.
I could sit there and find a reason for everything, and I know we don't have that much time to do that. But there's a lot of meaningful tattoos that are on me. Some are just for fun. I mean, I just like, sure. Yeah, that would be cool as shit. Let's do that. I do have a lot of music tattoos tattooed. I have a lot of Metallica tattoos on because that's like my favorite thing.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool. And you've done a lot of music tattoos. I mean, I've seen the Dimebag tats that you've done, and geez, you've done a lot of different like musical tattoos, right?
Yeah, I have a tendency to track musicians, and I think it's because when it comes to doing the tattoo experience in the studio here, anybody who's been tattooed here will tell you this: music is part of the experience, and a lot of times I'm finding myself educating people on new and different bands.
Awesome.
That say they've never heard of, and obviously we converse about them a lot and everything, and kind of give them a little bit of backing because I'm that like music nerd. When I get into a band, I want to know a lot about that singer or that drummer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't remember everything. Like I could tell you about a band from like 1988, everything about the musician, what bands they played in before. But now I'm like, yeah, that singer from that band. Now I have no idea what the name is.
I get it, but kudos to you for supporting us, our original bands and musicians out here that are still trying to keep pushing along.
I would never be able to do my job without music. If my radio or whatever my Bluetooth speaker is not working, don't even be in the same room with me to try and tattoo because I'm going to be really pissed off.
Love it. I love it. EC wants to know. EC wants to know what was the biggest and the smallest tats that you've ever done, and I'm gonna guess the biggest one is got to be that one that I saw recently. Is that right? That back that you did?
Oh,
like that's massive.
That would probably be right up there with the largest tattoo that I've done. Yes.
Wow, it's like a full back. Let me see. I know. So I have some pictures. I'm going to go to the scene that has some pictures of some of the tattoos that you've done. And I believe you sent me this one because this is recent, right? You finished this one sort of recently, I think, right?
It was something that was done back before the lockdown kind of all happened. And I was able to finally kind of like do some little bit of like posting in here and there because I was just not wanting to have anything to do with posting at all or anything like that because of everything that's been going on. So
Right.
I finally just kind of released a few things that were just kind of sitting there in the vault.
Yeah, right. So the pictures are scrolling around right now. It's basically a scene of you on the video, and then I have the some of your work scrolling by on the side. So I'm gonna let it roll through until we get to the one. So it's who's your canvas? Should we send a shout out?
His name is Jeremy. He's actually a tattoo artist from Sarnia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So when it comes around, I'll make sure to point it out. There's the picture of you and Jax. That's a great shot. Awesome. Yeah. So there's Nikki Six. I knew there was more musicians and rock stuff going on. Dude, your work is like, you're so good. Like I mean, I saw how good you were back in high school with just a pen.
Thanks,
So
I appreciate it.
you know. So while we're waiting for this to come around, let's talk a little bit. We'll get to the smallest tat. Hopefully, I remember the smallest. Do you know your smallest tat offhand?
I believe it was a semicolon. Actually, I guess no, not even the semicolon. The smallest tattoos I think I've ever done were on Jax, my wife. She wanted these little dots that on her cuticles. Like literally, I did these like little like I literally was like just a needle, zap, 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 and that was
Well,
it.
there you go.
I was done all 10 fingers, all 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. I did them all all under a minute.
Well, that counts as the smallest for sure. Then that would count as the smallest. There it is.
Dot would be the
So that shot just came up now. You can see it. It's a giant full back right down onto the butt, like the skull in there. There's wings. It goes by a little too fast, followed by that amazing heart that you did. That looks like so real.
Thanks, man.
Wow. So let's talk about that for a second, since that just came up. So yeah, one of the biggest for sure is that whole full back all the way down into the butt. How long did that take? How many hours into that tattoo?
Oh, geez. I bet you we're probably somewhere around the 50 to 60 hour mark.
I bet like a week.
Somewhere in there.
You know.
Oh, yeah. It's been a journey so far with him. It's almost done. I think we're about 90% complete, but once we get back to work, I can finish it up.
Right. How much time usually when things are normal, like on a thing like that? How much time do you need in between, like colors or layers or whatever?
With something like that on that scale, you can be out daily if you wanted because you can move around on the body.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And not interfering.
Right.
But usually people don't like to get back anywhere near a tattoo needle. 3 weeks is kind of like their minimal. They're like, yeah, I'm good. I'll be good for about 3 weeks.
That's the tolerance to pain thing more than anything, then.
Well, it's because I know you said you don't have any tattoos, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's something that when it's happening and just after, you're good. You don't even want to think about another one for a while. But then when it kind of goes away, like anything else, it's kind of when you've been drinking. You know, when you drink too much and you say, I'm never drinking again. And then 3 weeks later, you're getting hammered with the boys, on the back of a Dodge pickup tailgate, kind of shit like that.
I haven't done that since high school, John. Yeah,
I know
right.
your mom's watching. You don't want to tell her that, right?
Okay, so let's talk a little bit. You and I talked about this a bit. So we've got your biggest one, we've got the smallest one. You and I have had this conversation recently. For the record, I'm just going to go on the record as saying John Wayne, and he knows this. I know he knows this. Is the only person on the planet that is ever going to give me a tattoo. So I will never get a tattoo unless it is by him, and that is because of a lot of reasons. That's not just because he's an amazing artist, obviously. It has to do with our history, and it has if I'm going to get something permanent on my body, it's coming from that guy right there because of so many awesome reasons. So, that being said, we've talked about this a little bit recently. I've had an idea brewing for a long time. I've never really shared it with anyone because I hadn't really ever talked to you about it before. So, I don't have any tattoos because if I do, it would have been you that gave it to me. So, so John and I were discussing this idea recently, but it's been an idea that I've had for a long time, at least, almost 10 years, close to like 8 years anyway. I've had this thought. And do you remember what it was? Kind of?
Drums. I believe drums and a heart were part of the I was drinking when you were telling me, so.
I love
As you
that.
can tell, I have a problem.
Right. Without going into too much, I don't want to give it all away because I feel like somebody will steal my idea, John.
I get it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, because it's going to be like an original custom. This is why I need you, brother. I need you. You got to make this happen. Even when you said, like, can you give me some ideas? I'm like, I don't know if I can. I'm not really sure. There you go. There's an idea.
Yeah, I see it. Right over.
But yeah, so anyway, I have this idea of, no, it's not Muppet animal. No, I bet you every drummer that has a tattoo has a tattoo of animal.
Every drummer that I've ever tattooed has a tattoo of drums somewhere on them.
So let me ask you this. So do you look at someone like me as like this fresh piece of meat? Like, give me that virgin skin. Or are you like, man, whatever? I don't know. How do you look at someone like me who I have nothing on my body? Are you just like, dude, once you get one, you're gonna want 100? Or you are all like, I don't know. Like, how do you look at someone like me? Like, are you like, holy shit, I want to do stuff on that?
Honestly, I feel fearful because you guys come in and I'm saying this out of due honestly respect to everybody as their first tattoo that they've ever got.
Yes.
Because I've been the artist for a lot of first timers.
Nice.
They come in and they think this is it. I'm getting my tattoo, and then there's that percentage of people. They can kind of fluctuate like this. Oh, never really expect what it's going to feel like. And then when they get going into it, now all of their dreams and all their expectations of how this thing is going to look, all they think is, damn it, why does it hurt so much? I don't even want, how much longer is this going to be?
What am I doing to myself?
Yeah, and then now I got to try and get them through this. So I'm like a coach partner. And like it'd be almost like telling a woman she's got to give birth to a porcupine, and it's not going to hurt.
It's true though.
It's going to suck, through it, and but it depends. It depends on how you can tolerate the annoyance of that kind of pain, because it's not a pain like if you ask, like, you have to sit there and take your big toe and stub it off of the corner of a wall as hard as you can. Or get a tattoo. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm getting a tattoo.
Yeah.
Because my pain sucks.
Right. That's like something you want to do like one time and never again, no matter how many weeks go by.
Yes. So
that's
what I'm looking
at. I picture it as like this sort of like an annoying pain. Like it's like sitting there just poking yourself with a pin all day long. It's not going to really hurt but it's really going to start to get annoying, and it's going to start hurting after a while, and it's but it's not like that ultimate, like, I just stubbed my toe, I'm on the floor rolling around like a second grader,
Yeah, there's much worse pains. The longer you're going to sit for it, and if it's bothering you, yeah, it's going to feel like an eternity.
Right.
But we do have things now that kind of help people along, like numbing sprays and stuff like that. It can get you through it if you need it. But excuse me, I have had some people that literally can tell you right now it's therapeutic. They all like fall asleep.
Wow. Interesting,
So
huh?
it depends on it really depends on the individual. You yourself being a person who's never had it done before, it should be interesting to see how you do.
Well, I mean, look at it this way. When you were airbrushing my bass drum heads back in 1988, I wanted to be there to like watch every little bit of it. So I can only imagine I'll just be like,
yeah. Actually,
Glued
here's
to
an idea. We'll go Facebook Live when I tattoo you, and we can actually have that interview.
Well, we did have some talks about this, and I have a feeling like, under whatever parameters you can, that if it's ever possible, we're going to talk about this a little more in detail and see what we can do one of these days.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Let me catch up on the chat here a little bit. Right. They're talking about it would be drums. Yeah, I would probably. It's something to do with. I think it's a really a unique kind of idea, I think, like, because it's everybody's unique and every little thing tells a story. And in my case, my little reasons for why I want it to be a certain way are sort of unique. And, so Barb says it's like cat scratches.
Yeah, she's not too far off there. It's like cat scratching on a sunburn.
Right. Let's see. My mom says, you don't need a tattoo. We already know your tattoo will be about drums. That's good. Kevin says, it doesn't hurt like you got hit with a hammer, right? It didn't hurt like you got hit by the hammer. So
it's definitely not a hammer pain.
Right. Which I've done that. I mean, I've done that. That's not good. I don't want to do that ever again. Never. No, it's not for me. Not interested. So, all right, we'll move past this because it's something that I will talk more about, but I don't want to get too far into it because it's unique. I hope.
Yeah,
it's what I would want. So, all right. So here's a couple of things, John. I told my mom when I was a kid growing up. I told her that when I make my first $1 million in the music business, that I will buy her a house in Hawaii. Okay. Got it. She lives in.
How you doing in Hawaii?
She lives in McGregor.
Stupid napster.
Yeah, like what the heck, all that streaming, online streaming. And I've told myself that I would never get a tattoo for myself. Of course, you tell yourself things all the time, but all my life, I told my mom says she's still waiting. She knows it though. It's true. Like I've told her, like ever since I was a little kid, I'm like, Mom, when I make it big in the music biz and I get my first $1 million, I'm going to buy you a house in Hawaii. Yay. Yes. That's what I said. Hold on. Let me try that. Yes. John doesn't get to hear the sound effects. He's like, what in the world's going on?
It's all good.
I'm hitting sound effects and stuff. Don't worry about it. You're fine. But I did wanted, when I was, younger, I always wanted to get a tattoo, and it's all music related, of like, let's just say, for example, that CD that you have, sort of put us on the map as a band and, did something really significant for us. I would have probably got the, either like the name of the single or maybe the name of the record or the name of something like that, that sort of did it, I would have got something like that probably. But again, here I am, Mom's in McGregor and I'm without a tattoo. So the next thing was this other idea that I've had for, several years. So we'll get to that one of these days, you and I.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm going to come to Bell River as soon as I can, and we're going to have a little powwow with your neighbor Tammy and hang out and say hello. And it's been way too long, man. Miss all you guys.
Yeah, it'd be great to have you out here. I've already run it by her, so she's well aware of the evening that will definitely be partaken, and the shenanigans that go along with.
It'd be super fun, huh?
Oh yeah,
that would be great. Oh man.
Yeah.
So let's see. We want to move into we've pretty well covered, like, got you up to the point now where you're tattooing. So let's talk about BEESTING. Let's talk about how this all started for you. Do you remember the first tattoo you ever gave anyone?
Actually, yeah, I was my first client.
You were?
I was 17 years old and had discovered that if you take a sewing needle and some Pelican ink and you wrap a little bit of thread around the end of the needle and you dip it in the ink and you poke your skin, you can leave marks. And so when I saw that a couple of friends had done this, I was like any other teenager, I got to try it. And that's kind of what started it. So next thing you know, I'm poking this, and then my girlfriend at the time, she wanted one, and then another person, and then it kind of like snowballed that way. And because what I had started doing was I was drawing tattoo designs for friends, and they were going into Windsor to get tattooed by a couple of the old, we usually call them like the old biker tattooers and stuff like that. Like there was only a couple of them in Windsor that did it.
Right.
So I would draw these really elaborate designs with a whole bunch of detail, and they would go get them done. And then they'd come back and they go, well, he kind of didn't do all the stuff you put in it. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I drew it, and all you had to do was just follow it. And they
Right.
go, well, why don't you do your tattoos? Well, next thing you know, I'm starting to do tattoos, and I had the name Jason Cott. I don't know if you remember that
Yeah, I
name.
remember Jason Cott. Yeah,
And
from
so
high
Jason
school.
Cott he lent me this homemade tattoo machine that he had made himself, and I tattooed a friend of mine. And next thing you know, it's like I do one, then I do another, and then it just kind of snowballed from that, and then I tried to get away from it, and that kind of started about '89, and then by '92 I had moved to Toronto to go to college. Did a couple tattoos while I was in college, but nothing too crazy. I had a lot of workload. I moved back, and now people are thinking that I'm going to be doing tattoos again because I'm back in the area. But I didn't want to. I literally just I didn't want it. So
Right.
then I had another person who I worked with at a gas station. He invested in me. He wanted to give me the opportunity, and I told him, I said, I don't want to do this. And he goes, why not? And I'm like, because I don't have the right equipment. The investment came. He gave me the money to buy the equipment that I needed. I tattooed him. Name is Aaron Harvey. Thank you, Aaron. You
Wow.
were the person that kind of got me started into doing this. The first person that got me to do the tattoos in the first place, way back in like '91, was Chris Lozon. May he rest in peace. We kind of did this thing. Chris got me started that way. Aaron invested. In '95 is when Aaron invested, and that's when I decided, well, if you're going to do this, you might as well have a name. And that's what I named it. I named it Beasting, and I didn't ever plan on keeping the name. The name was just supposed to be a temporary name until I thought of something a lot better. It stuck.
It's perfect. It's a great name.
Yeah, it was just one of the things. So that kind of started. So like when you say like the first tattoo, that's that first, like I always say, like '89 and '95 was the experimental stage.
Right.
You know, that's when I was kind of playing around with it, and then when I hit '95, it was full steam ahead.
Wow, that's awesome. And I didn't know you had like someone sort of invest and kind of help you kind of get started with like a legitimate business. That's pretty sweet, huh?
It was a very it was a kind of a it was a difficult decision to make because I didn't know if I wanted to go this road because I had just finished like 3 years of the school for advertising and graphic design, and I thought, well, maybe I should really concentrate on what my schooling taught me, and instead I ended up down this road, you know.
Right, right. I mean, I could see graphic design, but it's still not pen to paper or ink to skin though, you know? Like it's still not quite the same as that. And you've always been that sort of an artist to me.
I was more of the, I mean, I like to draw and do what I feel, and I don't like to take direction from art directors, and I don't like doing all that kind of stuff. And
Right.
but I will say this: the education part of it kept me organized, and kept me focused, and it kept me able to do the things that were necessary to
Right.
make this work as a business.
Right, right. So you got some good stuff out of it, kind of, even though it wasn't necessarily related to what you got into, you still got some good things that applied.
Yeah, you know, and like, and people felt better if they knew that, you know, you you had a really good artistic background. I mean, even pre like the college years of like the schooling and stuff like that. But it was just they. I guess it kind of looked at everything and they kind of compiled all the information together and went, yeah, you know what, this actually would be a good guy to get tattooed by. He's not somebody who's like doing this half-ass. He really wants to put everything into it.
Right, right. Yeah, and now you last year you celebrated 25 years at Beasting, huh?
Yeah, the year of COVID, the year I waited for my 25th, and I was shut down for half the year.
Yes, quarter of a century old. Woohoo.
Yeah, I had all my stickers made up, ready to hand out and everything like that, and it was like, nope, not gonna happen.
Oh man, I feel for you. I know you've been struggling with this time, with obviously having to stay closed, and you know, like how are you doing it? How you making it work? Hi, Jax. Jax just checked in on the chat over there. She says Aaron Harvey and Chris Lozon RIP were the first supporters of Beasting and always will be.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome, 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 awesome.
So how am I doing? With
Yeah,
all
how are
this?
you coping along here?
I'm.
How you doing it? Because you're not open. Like you're not open for
No.
business right now.
I can say that if they give us the projection of when we can go back to work, I'll have lost almost 12 months of work.
It's crazy.
And they're giving us money from the government that's trying to assist us, but the one thing a lot of people don't understand is that when you have liability insurances and you have all this other stuff that goes along with this, and you have ink and needles and all this stuff, things that expire.
Yeah, right.
There is a lot of money that's lost. There's
Sure.
a lot of money that's lost. There is the, like I said, the insurance. The insurance alone, they actually have liability. What they're giving us doesn't even really cover that.
Right, right.
So it's been a struggle. Creatively, I'm not really too bad with the break. I've been doing this a long time, and I'm not gonna lie. There's 50% of me that loves this time off because
Right.
it's letting me regenerate and kind of group. But
Sure.
then there's the other part of me that says I need to stay creative. I need to keep moving forward with this because I don't want to spend too much time away from it, because what if I don't feel like going back to it?
Right, right. Yeah.
Mhm.
I can totally understand. I very much feel the same way. I lost my job similarly to you when we talked about this before the show. The timing for you and me and all that stuff is the same. Like it's been since like July for me. I think it's coming on a year now for me through this COVID mess and all that. And had it not all happened the way it happened, part of me hates everything that happened, but then a part of me goes, you know what, though? It's allowed me to spend more time here at the studio, be more available to do this creative stuff that I love to do, that I'm so, fortunate and proud and blessed to be a part of. And there's nothing I love doing more. I mean, there's nothing I love doing more than, creating music and being active in music in any way, shape, or form that I can be. And even this show, this show for me is literally a byproduct of COVID, to be honest. Like, I don't know that I would have had the time or the energy to spend to do what I do here with this. And the reason I do it is because of people like you, because I have so many friends and so many artists and so many musicians and talented people that I know that, I can share what they do and share their stories, and it keeps me feeling still relevant in this ridiculous time, and in a sense of like in the music industry or in this business of being, an original artist or being unique or, trying your own thing,
As artists, we always want to feel like we're feeling productive, we're feeling useful, that we're actually able to get what's inside out. And when
Absolutely.
you stifle that and you do that, you have to try and find another outlet. Well, what are the other outlets? There's only so much of this thing or that thing or whatever that you can do before you don't understand. Like, my main focus was on this,
Right.
and this is my initial drive. And when that gets taken away, you just feel like, what's the point?
It's true. It's true. I mean, for myself, like I haven't played a gig, it's been like forever. Like I haven't seen some of my bandmates, in Windsor, like all the guys in Windsor. I haven't seen any of them,
Exactly.
it's crazy. Like, it's like I used to just drive across and play gigs all the time. It was nothing to think about. Like, Barb raises a good point. She says it's so ridiculous. Nowhere is safer and more sterile than a tattoo parlor, she says.
Thank you so much. That's exactly right there. It's like, we were ahead of this curve before it even occurred. Like, everything had to be sterile surfaces and everything. Like, we treat it like you're going in for surgery because that's what we have to do. That's what the health board tells us to do. But when they take that away and they allow other things to be okay, it's almost like, what are you saying about us? It feels like a huge slap in the face. It really does.
It really does. And I feel the same way about the entertainment industry, to be honest with you. I feel like, I understand it. I understand why they're doing what they're doing, and I get it, but I don't get why is that one okay, but that's not okay. That's the stuff that it makes me go, hold on a minute. Like, I can't go and entertain people, and you can't, give people a tattoo. We can't do our art. We can't do that because why? But yet you can go and do these things that you're scratching your head going, it makes no sense,
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so let me see. What did I miss? EC said something here that I'm going back a little bit, but let me see. Tammy said this is back to a little bit. She said I was still too afraid. I think she was referencing back when you were giving tattoos as a youngster. She says I was still too afraid of my dad to get one back then.
Yeah,
Big John.
I think we were both in that same boat there, Tammy.
I see. EC says, Darren, get a tat of Gizmo playing the drums so that when I shower, it will multiply. There'll be less pain that way, right?
Right.
That's great. I love you too, Mom. I love you too. Thank you. Well, hey, I think we're going to wrap up, my friend John. I don't think we got anything else to cover. I want to make sure we've covered it all. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. Yeah, okay. Oh, one thing I want to talk about. Yeah, so you just mentioned you'll be 12 months without work, basically, without doing anything in your job, in your business, and you're the owner. This is your company. This isn't like you work for somebody else. This is your thing.
Exactly.
And I was going to say, and that being said, you were a good, 2-3 years booked out?
When I took I took the very last of my bookings. When anybody who follows me with my work knows how I take my bookings, and I usually wait till one day. I take one day and I take all the bookings at once, and then I organize it out. And it usually takes about 2 or 3 years of my life, and then I do the next round.
I love that, by the way. I love that because that's how in demand you are. You're so in demand that you have to choose one day to say, listen, book right now, act fast, and in that day, you get enough work to fill your calendar for 2 years.
Yeah, I get usually between 250 and 300 emails.
Hear that, folks. That's how talented this guy is. If you want a tattoo, book it now, and hopefully stuff will open up, and you can get one in the next 2 years from him. Unless you're me, because I'm getting special treatment, and I don't care what y'all say.
Yeah, it actually put me to when I took it last year. It was February, and then we got locked down in March. It was literally a month later that we got locked down. And then so now what I had taken and organized had put me to somewhere about late 2023. Now with all this happening, I don't even know where this is going to come back. I really don't know. I'm going to be past 2023.
Are you worried that you're going to lose some of these clients?
Yes.
I would think so, right? People are going to say, well, oh my gosh, right?
I think that not just because that it's a longer wait than it was projected, but I think now a lot of people's lives have been altered financially.
Good point.
So they've lost work, they've lost income, they've lost all kinds of savings and stuff like this to be able to maintain to get through all this time. So now they may just cancel just because I can't afford to do this now. When I was before all this happened, I had the money, but now I don't, and I can't begrudge them anything. So when it comes to this, I'm gonna have to accept that's their fate, which affects mine.
Sure.
And the longer they keep dragging this out, the more it's going to get like this.
Yeah, right. You're absolutely right. And Jax says in the chat, she says it's worth the wait. it sure is.
Thank you.
Absolutely. There's no question. Kevin says, first Kevin says, good to virtually meet you, John. I hope you guys get to meet each other one of these days.
Thank you so much, man. Great to have you on me.
Two super solid, awesome guys. And Kevin also says, let's book now then.
I really wish, man.
Right? I know. Well, maybe I'll drag Kevin with me one of these days. We can get across the border and we'll see what happens. For sure. My mom says you both are... Sorry, go ahead. Say that again, John.
I got a drum kit here. We'll set it up in the backyard. You can jam all night.
Yes. All right. Do you play drums? No, you don't play drums.
I tinkered around with it back when I was in high school years, and then maybe about 15, 16 years ago, the wife for, I think our anniversary one year, she bought me a drum kit. She bought me a 7-piece Tama set.
Nice.
And I had all the intentions of really getting into it, learning the craft, but then my work schedule went and skyrocketed, so I never got around to it. So they sit in the attic. They're still there, pristine and perfect in every condition. I have guitars here and all this other stuff too. So,
well, hopefully you can find some time to even just as a hobby, get them to set up and have some fun, and
yeah, maybe one day I'll get that man cave all together and nothing but a studio and everything to be able to play.
That would be nice, huh?
Absolutely.
Right on. Awesome. Well, dude, I gotta say, my mom said that you both are so talented. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Mom remembers us, from high school. She said something in one of the chats about you being in Bell River, and and I'm like, yeah, he's still in Bell River. 25 years of BEESTING in Bell River.
Yeah, I'm right across the street from the high school.
Yeah, right. Well, that's awesome, dude. Well, hey, man, I certainly, I wish you all the best. I hope this ends soon for all of us. And I know as a business owner, it's not easy. It's never easy. In the best of times, it's a difficult chore. So I know that you're doing your best and getting through this as best as you can. And I wish you guys all the best of luck through this, and I sure hope I can see you soon, man. It's been way too long.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I thank you so much. It was great, yeah, for sure. And hopefully get you over here sooner or later, and maybe when the weather's still warm. I don't want to see you come over here in the wintertime. Let's sit on the deck and have some drinks. And
wouldn't that be nice, huh? My mom says she drove school bus in Bell River, so maybe that's how.
Well, if I remember your mom correctly, she drove all of us to the Monsters of Rock show.
Oh my gosh, yeah, right? Wait.
Even some bus lines.
Yeah, but was it her though? No.
I thought it was your mom.
No, I don't think it was. But you're right, it was Stevenson. Mom, did you? I don't think you drove us. Oh my gosh, I forgot all about that. I got a bus. I organized a bus for us to go to Monsters of Rock. Oh man.
I still have both of my jerseys from that show.
Dude, that was killer. That was Kingdom Come, and then Metallica. And then Dokken. Scorpions and Van Halen.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, that was at the Silverdome.
9.5 hours of rock.
That was an amazing show. That was at the Silverdome, right?
Yeah, 1988.
1988, the Silverdome.
You know what? It was this month.
Nice.
It was in June.
Oh yeah, my mom says no, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't think she drove us, but she definitely had a hand in helping me get the bus together, and
maybe that's what it was. It was. I knew your mom drove for them, and I thought maybe she was the one who drove us that day. But I was just excited to go.
It was a woman though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it might have been Sandy actually, Mom. Sandy Stevenson. It might have been. I think. I don't know. I forget now. But I forgot all about that, dude. Yeah, that was great, man. That was so much fun. We had such a riot going to just goes to show you the difference, right? Like in 2011 or 2001 when the world changed and the borders changed and Homeland Security became a thing. In 1988, we Canadian teenagers were hopping on buses full of long-haired rock and rollers, in a rented school bus, heading over to the Pontiac Silverdome to catch a 10-hour rock show and turn around and come back. Oh my gosh.
No, man, what a great. It was so easy for us to find our vehicle after that show was done. We could look for the big yellow bus. I think we were the only one that was there.
The only one, yeah. I don't. My mom says it wasn't Sandy. I don't remember who it was, to be honest with you, but. Yeah, that's amazing, dude. I kind of forgot all about that. It was such a great show. I remember when Metallica got done. I remember whoever I was sitting next to, I remember saying to them, how is, Dokken going to top that? That was so great. Kingdom Come was, a couple of songs that we all knew and, which was cool. But, it's the first band. By the second band was Metallica, and they still weren't they hadn't broke huge. They weren't commercially as big as they kind of became. So that's why they were the second band. But I remember them getting done, and I was like, oh, my gosh, how is, Dokken going to top that? That was great, right? And then Dokken comes out, and it just was amazing.
I think what we all remember of Metallica was when they were doing, I think it was, sanitarium, and everybody ran to the bathrooms and grabbed the rolls of toilet paper, and there's
Yeah.
streamers all across the whole show.
Yeah, the whole dome was just a streaming toilet papers. It was amazing. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
yeah, and then there was like tidal waves of people going from the lower bowl onto the floor. There was like just droves of people jumping the railing and then rushing the stage.
Yeah, and there was no way that they were stopping all these people. People were like, "Yeah, we're going to the main floor."
Oh, I know. And like I can remember people coming up because we were at the lower bowl at the thing, and I remember this guy coming up and he goes, "Hey man, you want to go to the main floor?" And he had taken his ticket and sleeved it into the cigarette pack. He hands it to us, so you walked over, you showed the person, you got on the main floor, and you went down.
Yeah, we had the tricks, didn't we?
We know how that work now. Everything's all scanner now, but back then it was simple. If you had a ticket, all right, come on in.
Yeah, that's right. That was such a great show. That was a great memory, man. I'm glad that you brought that up. I kind of forgot about that. I don't even remember. Like we had a bus load. We had
on that bus.
Yeah, we had a full bus. Like we all chipped in however much it cost for us to rent that bus, and we were full. It was great.
It wasn't much. I bet you it was maybe like $7.50 each. I think it was.
Didn't I do like the ticket and the bus was all one price? Wasn't it an all inclusive thing?
It might be.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
I feel like the ticket stub.
I don't remember how I did. I remember I had to I'd organize it and I got everybody to pay me, but I don't know if I feel like I bought all the tickets and then just I don't remember. It's a long time ago. Whatever it was.
We were pretty much almost all grouped together, if I remember correctly.
That's
but
why I
that
feel
was
like-
like simple. You just called up and you went, "Yeah, I need like 30 tickets." All right, cool. And then here's a credit card. Done.
Right. It was a block. Yeah, exactly. It was so cool. That's great that you remember that, dude. That's awesome. So to cross the border, so I've been told. I'm not sure what she's saying there, but I see. Oh, she's saying she's saying that they really don't drive across the border like that really now because of insurance reasons. I'm sure of it. Yeah, I'm sure it's a whole different. Everything's different now. So for sure, no question about it. So
Yeah.
cool though. I'm glad you remember that, and you still have the shirts too, the jerseys from it. That's awesome. That is.
Yeah, it was
so
funny.
awesome.
I went on eBay a couple of years ago just out of curiosity, and I was like, because nostalgia and everything started kind of happening, and everyone's looking for retro, like this whole 80s metal thing. So I was like, I wonder what my shirts would go for. So I look it up, and I bought the Dawkins shirt, and I had bought the Monsters of Rock shirt with all the bands on the back. Well, the Dawkins shirt went for $290 US. The actual shirt for the Monsters of Rock, true, legit, with all the bands,
Right.
$400 US for that shirt.
Yes. That is awesome. Right. And you probably paid like $20 or something back then at the show, or whatever it was.
I bet there wasn't even that. Maybe like $15 a shirt.
Yeah, probably, right? Oh man, that's so awesome. I'll never forget that show for sure. That was so good.
No.
Absolutely.
It definitely was one of the concert highlights of my life.
Yeah, it being like a full day event, that was just so cool. And that Silverdome was just jam packed and rocking. It was great.
Man, it was smoky. It was smoky in there. That's when you could smoke in the Silverdome.
Oh yeah, you could smoke, and they would fill the whole, like the stadium would just be filled with smoke from pyro and all the stuff. Oh yeah, it was. But you needed all that stuff to make the show look even bigger and better.
Oh man, it was so great.
The good old days, huh?
I honestly didn't think we were ever going to get home from that show.
All right, I'm surprised that everyone made it back to the bus. To be honest with you.
Yeah, within a reasonable time. We were all teenagers. Who's to say that we're just going to take off and do whatever?
Right? A bunch of good Canadian lads.
Oh yes, run for the.
The worst that they would do is just storm the main floor. Basically, that's about all.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, Mr. John, you this has been a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm going to let you go. I think we'll wrap it up now. Best of luck with everything. I hope I see you soon. Keep doing the amazing artwork that you do. And one day I hope I will maybe be sitting right there with you. We'll see.
We're going to make that happen, buddy.
It sounds good, dude. I'll see what I can find and send you some samples of what I might be thinking.
Okay. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Great to catch up with you. Thank you, Sandra. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. John, I appreciate it, buddy. It's such a pleasure, and I hope to see you soon, dude. Take care, all right? Thank you, man. Mr. John Wayne, you guys. What a great show, huh? John, I know you can hear me right now. You're not on the show at this moment, but just stick around if you can for a second while I wrap up, and I'll come back to you in 1 second, John. Thank you guys for being here, for being on the show, for being part of the chat. I love you all for being part of this. Sandra, my mom, Barb, Kevin. Let's see, who else? EC was in there today. Don. Hi, Don. There's Don. I got to say hi to Don. That makes no sense. Yeah, Don, I know. It makes no sense. Barb, checking out Beesting Tattoo's website. Nice work. Absolutely nice work. Don, sorry I didn't see your comment earlier. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Jax, thank you for hanging out and watching as well. I'm glad that you were there. I think you're upstairs watching this, John said. And you guys, I appreciate it so much. Tammy, it was nice to have you here. I hope you guys had fun. It was really nice to catch up with my buddy John, and I hope I can kind of go see him in Bell River one of these days. And if you guys, like, seriously, if you're thinking about, getting a tattoo, I'm telling you right now, like, don't, like, he's the guy. I personally, I would not go anywhere else. So that's my guy. If and when this is going to happen, there's nobody on the planet that I would rather have do it. So don't forget, you guys, what's happening next week is going to be another good show. I'm excited. Check it out.
Come on, people, take out your phone. You know what to do. Point it at yourself.
Scott Randall will be joining me next week.
Put it on your favorite social media.
Scott Randall from WRIF Radio, Detroit Radio. Not to mention in the band Chit as well. Looking forward to having him on. It's going to be a fun show. He's a good guy. A lot of fun. Got a great story, great history, fun band. Looking forward to it. Screaming Scott Randall from WRIF Radio next week on Bands Across the Water, Sunday at 7 p.m. You all come and join me, won't you? I look forward to seeing you then.
I'm motherfucking self-made. Go ahead and grab your phone, take a picture on your own. Make it self-made. Get down.
That's right. Mr. Screaming Scott next week. Doug Edwards checking in the chat over there. I just wanted to make a shout out to him. He's amazing, and it's a great experience. Well, thank you, Doug. I'm sure it is. I know John's amazing, and his work is absolutely amazing. So very sought-after tattoo artist over there in the Windsor, Essex area out in Bell River. BEESTING Tattoo. Check them out, you guys. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you all next week. Please remember to like, subscribe, share. And, of course, I accept donations. I always accept donations. Thank you all for your support. You can donate at paypal.me/Darren Curtis. And, of course, if you're doing an e-transfer, you can donate at Darren_@Curtis@hotmail.com. I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you for joining me tonight. Love you all. Peace.
Across the water, bands across the sky.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh no! Oh yeah!